All right, Shalom Akim. This is your brother Samak coming with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, where all praise and honor and glory is due, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace blessings to all you brothers doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom to all the believers, all right, the sincere brothers and sisters that are the hopeful elect. All right, so going into it, all right, this lesson today talking about how it's a constant war and battle between the spirit and the flesh, okay, and how we have to remain very present, and we have to remain very patient and of a sound mind, because if we don't, what's going to happen is we're going to lose focus in this battle. All right, when you lose focus in this battle, you're going to start to take hits that you shouldn't take because you kept your eyes off of of your opponent. All right, meaning you have to be conscious and aware of wickedness in order to deflect wickedness. That's why ultimately we were given this truth. That's why we were ultimately cast down to know wickedness and righteousness, so that what we can be fit to rule in the kingdom to come. So you have to remain very relaxed but focused, laser focused in this truth. And when I say laser focus, I mean you're like not necessarily saying you got to be in the scriptures all day, but laser focus meaning your mind and your spirit has to constantly be on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, even when you're at work, even when you're in the gym, even when you're when you're just out and about, just handling business, running errands, doing whatever you got to do. Because when you're in the world, you're constantly surrounded by wickedness, because majority of the people around you are either heathen or they're jakes that don't know who they are or what they ought to do. So if your mind is single on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, no matter what situation arises, you're going to be ready for the battle, because you're focused. All right, you're laser focused on righteousness, and you'll see the wickedness and evil in every little thing. When you start doing this, you'll start to notice that even just in the simplest of things, you'll start to notice folly. Just in the simple conversations of people, and the way people complain, and you start to see these different things, like people complain about the littlest and dumbest things, man. And it starts to become vexing, because you'll hear somebody complaining about something. You're like, yo, bro, it's not that deep. Somebody's complaining because there's only 2 cashiers and there's 5 people in line. They're mad because they gotta wait for a cashier to be open. You know what I mean? Or they'll be mad because somebody is in line. The person in front of them in line is having an issue with the card or something, and it's just a technical issue, and it's just going to take a moment to resolve. But now they're getting impatient. They're sucking their teeth and, because you got to wait an extra 60 seconds, extra 2 minutes. Like your life is that important. These little things you start to notice when you are in a spiritual state of mind. And it starts to vex you, because it ultimately goes back to wickedness. All right, having a lack of patience is wicked. All right, having a lack of empathy is wicked, because that can very well be you in that same situation where you're ringing up and something happens with the machine, or your card is messing up. And now you want people to be patient with you. You don't want people scoffing at you and trying to rush you, And that's how the people in this world, they don't think like that. But that's why us being Israelites, we have to be set apart. We have to be the light. And these are these are just one of the things some of the things that we go through in this life, that are a constant battle between righteousness and wickedness. See, it goes down to the smallest things. We always think about just the great battles, right? Like wicked holidays, and adultery, and eating certain foods, and being doing certain things that might be dangerous, and different things like that. We always think about those major things, but we never sit and take time to think about the very things, the small things that apply. You know what I mean? Like the very small things, like, damn, okay, I'm not really showing enough patience. I'm being impatient. I'm not being empathetic. I'm not being understanding. I'm not giving the benefit of the doubt. All these different things. These are all spiritual battles, because they're all things that make up your character. So let's go ahead and get into some scripture. This is 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 3. It says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down of strongholds, casting down the imaginations and every high thing that exalts of itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahweh Shai, Mashiach." Because we're in the flesh, all right, and we live in the flesh, right? We walk in the flesh. So we do things that are necessary for the survival of the flesh, right? For the well-being of the flesh, eating a clean diet, exercising, grooming yourself. All these things ultimately are for the betterment of the flesh, but also for the spirit, it's twofold, because what happens in the flesh happens in the spirit first, But, essentially directly, though, they affect the body directly, okay? And secondly, they affect the spirit, right? You are what you eat, right? You eat like shit, you'll feel like shit, both physically and spiritually. But we don't war after the flesh, meaning we don't fight a war that is a carnal, fleshly warfare. We're not, fighting a war with guns, and we're not in a war of politics, and, we're not fighting the war that these people are fighting. Like, these people care about certain things that we ought not to care about, things that don't pertain to prophecy. Everybody's mad about, what this celebrity is doing, or they found out these certain group of Edomites were doing pedophilia and all this other shit. Like, bro, we don't give a fuck. It doesn't, we already know that Esau is a pedophile. We know that Esau is a wicked man. Esau knows his judgment. We don't care about you simple, everyday Edomites, you so-called rich Edomites that's in the forefront. You're not the elites. The only Edomites we care about are the elites, all right? The ones who run the world, all right? The ones who own the businesses, the banks, and the very faces that we don't know who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes. Those are the only Edomites that matter. Every other Edomite you see walking up and down the street, they're going to either die in the famines, the civil wars, the missiles, or they're not even going to make it to Jacob's trouble, bro. So they mean nothing. So whatever they do means nothing. All right, we don't war after the flesh. All right, our warfare is a spiritual warfare. We fight against, pursuing Ephesians 6. We fight against principalities and spirits and wickedness in high places. All right, we're fighting against the powers that be. The ones who dictate the narratives of the world, the ones who dictate the spirit that people follow, the ones who dictate the holidays and the delicacies and certain foods and the spirit that people are in. All right, that's what we do. All right, that's what we fight against, and we fight against a war with the first and foremost within ourselves. All right, fighting against our own lust and temptations, fighting against people trying to pull us away from our power, people trying to bring us down to their level. All right, people who want us to be involved in worldly things that don't pertain to the spirit, things that ultimately hurt the spirit, because not all things are necessarily in a betterment of the spirit. Some things are just neutral. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a hobby, something you enjoy, if you enjoy, I don't know, skiing or gaming and, whatever the case is, or drawing, those necessarily don't work for the betterment of the spirit, maybe your spirit, but like, those things that they don't have a positive or a negative effect on in the truth, so they're neutral things. But there's things that people want us to be involved in that negatively affect the truth and the spirit. All right, like overly consuming of alcohol, overly indulging in whatever, casual sex, just being a whoremonger, different things like that. Things that ultimately take your mind and spirit away from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that will eventually lead to some kind of sin, all right? Or wickedness, being a drunkard, can have you putting people's lives in harm. You harm and hurt other people because of your recklessness. You might be intoxicated and end up committing adultery because a girl was giving you play and you found out she got a dude, but you still went to base. Right, same thing with whoremongering. All right, you keep just dabbling and dabbling and over consuming, and you become obsessed with pussy, or if you're a chick, you become obsessed. You start sleeping around. Yeah, all manners of wickedness. You know, so those are the things that we fight against. All right, fighting the urges and, like I said, the lust and the temptations. All right, and bettering ourselves every day. So let's go over here. This is Psalms 84:11. And this is why it's important to stay focused on the Lord. And like I said, keep the Lord on your mind at all times, because what? It's a shield. Psalms 84:11. But in fact, I don't even know if I can start out. Let me see. No, I'll just get the point. It says, "For Yahweh our God is a sun and shield. The Lord Yahweh will give grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly." So Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, right, through the Holy Spirit, right, is a what? He is a shield. All right, he's a sun. All right, he's a sun, meaning he gives light, all right, to dark places. All right. He gives life, because the sun gives life, man. Nothing, plants and trees and people can't grow and live without the sun. And the sun gives light to darkness, okay? And he's our shield, meaning he protects us. All right. He protects us from physical danger, emotional danger, and spiritual danger. He protects us from evil spirits, and because, demonic spirits and, those things are real. He protects us from those. All right. He protects us from temptations. He protects us from physical harm. All right. All these different things. All right. He's our shield. And keeping the Lord on our mind kind of gives us a void, right? There's like an invisible force around you that when wickedness tries to come and touch you, it can't reach you, because the Lord is constantly on your mind. So you deflect it. You deflect the wickedness, because what? You catch it before it even comes. So you can tell when somebody's on some bullshit. You can check it, like, oh, chill. Nah, I'm not getting into that. No, we're not doing that. Nah, it's not happening. And so on and so forth. Right? And that's why it's very important to keep this law and these words in your mind, pursuing the Joshua 1:8. Because that's what's going to ultimately make your walk in this truth successful. And anything that you put your hands to will be successful, because what? The spirit in you is upright, and the Most High sees it and acknowledges it, and therefore he knows what you can and cannot handle. All right, and we're going to go ahead and jump over here to Deuteronomy 30:19, and we'll probably end off here. So it says, "I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live." So you're every day, there's choices that are put in front of you. A choice that may lead to life, and a choice that may lead to death. All right, a choice that may bring blessings, and a choice that may bring cursings. And you're not always going to go 100% from the field. Sometimes you slip and you fall and you make a wrong choice. But you got to check it early. You got to get up and you got to keep pushing forward. But the more consistent you are with making the right choice, the righteous choice, all right, for life and blessings, the better your odds and chances are of you actually enduring to the end and the Most High delivering your spirit. All right, or I should say, the more likely your chances are that you are of the elect, because what you're doing and putting on as the elect. So the likelihood of you being of that number is shown by what? Your labors, by the fruits of your labors, by your actions, your deeds. Your spirit being the driver of your actions. Remember, because it all starts in the spirit, it all starts in the mind, and then it manifests in the flesh. All right, so you think it and you do it. All right. So every day you make the choice. You show up. Ephesians 6, you put on the whole armor of God, and you stand up for the battle, and you prepare yourself each and every day for what? All manner of wickedness. And you fight and you live to see another day as you make those right choices. All right. So Lord willing, this video is edifying. Till next time.